Olivia and I are going to demonstrate a one-partner version of this passive backbend, and the little details that we'll teach you in this sequence we have found make all the difference between normal passive backbending over a relatively firm surface and this version. That is to say that this one here is infinitely more comfortable, and surprisingly, even though more comfortable, it's much more effective too. So watch the first thing. Olivia puts herself in position, and look how she does it, because we want everything to be done as safely as possible. She's supporting herself with her straight arms. She places roughly the shoulder blades on the highest part of the barrel, or the whale I should say, like this, and she lowers her own head down onto the curved surface. Now it may be that you're not as flexible as she is, so I've prepared a little cushion and a pillow here which we'll use to support just the back of her neck and her head. And if you see the final position here, you'll see that this neck, or her neck, is hardly in extension at all, and it simply feels safer to her and more comfortable in the neck, obviously. So the next thing that happens is that I put myself in position so that she can actually reach back and hold the back of my leg here, because we're going to apply some traction to the arms using my body weight. So you help the person get into position like this, and you can adjust your own position so that her fingers are linked, or your partner's fingers are linked firmly just up underneath the buttocks there. Then watch, you then move your knee away like this so that you've got a tiny amount of traction on the arms. And then the second most important thing is just watch, I'm grasping the whole of her arm muscles like this. I grip the whole arm flesh, which is biceps and triceps and all the fascia, and I twist in firmly. And then the last point is I then apply the traction by leaning my body back like this. And then the instruction is simply to breathe and relax. Now Olivia then actually applies the stretch that she wants by simply lowering her hips like so, and as you can see that her middle and upper back is conforming itself to the shape of the barrel perfectly. That's the third part. Now the fourth part, and this is a very important part, is the whole breathing aspect. At the moment she's breathing into her abdominal area mostly, but we can change that completely. If you look at the top of her chest, you'll see it's hardly moving at all. But if I release one arm and place my flat hand just below her chin on the top part of her chest like this, and then ask herself to breathe into the hand, look at how much the hand now moves. Now what's happening is that while the whole fascial sleeve is under stretch, fascial and muscle of course, is under stretch, now by directing her breathing action into the hand, all of these top and middle ribs are expanding hugely. And then the instruction is simply to keep breathing into where the hand was, and then drop the hips lower and lower slowly until you get the full stretch that you want. Breathe and relax, and the goal of this exercise is to stay in this position for a minute or two in your full stretch position, trying to let your body simply relax over whatever curved or shaped curved surface you're lying on. Breathe and relax. I'm maintaining the traction and she's applying the stretch by lowering her hips. Now let's assume that you've been in the stretch for long enough. What's the best way to come out? Well, this is the sequence that we have found as effective. Firstly, you release the rotation like this. Then she unclasps her hands from behind my leg and reaches her fingers into the back of her head like this. And she lifts the head up away from the bench like this, and then puts her hands in position to support herself and lets her bottom slide down to the floor. And immediately she then goes into a little forward bend. You choose one that you like, Liv. What she's doing is she's doing the clasped leg version, and as you can see, as she slumps, the part of the back that was being bent backwards most strongly, and this is the part that tends to tighten up when you do that, on this side of the spine, this is now being given a full stretch, and you can add little slumping movements and little movements, other little micro movements as we like to say now. And all of the parts that might have tightened up during the backward bend will be stretched. How does that feel? Lovely. Excellent, and that's it. Try it. You'll like it.